it's Casey. I am a registered dietitian and certified personal trainer. I help women lose fat, get fit, and gain confidence. Today, I wanted to talk with you about macronutrients, or macros, as you may have heard them called. Macronutrients are the nutrients that we get the majority of our energy from. So these nutrients contain calories. There are 3 of them that I'm going to briefly chat about today. And I mean briefly, this could be a whole nother, probably day-long lecture, but it's not going to be. I'm going to give you the down and dirty details right here. So carbohydrates, protein, and fat are the macronutrients that we get the majority of our calories coming into our diet from. Carbohydrates and protein both contain 4 calories per gram. Fat contains 9 calories per gram. So this is why fat gets a bad rap, because we eat just the same amount of grams and it's going to contribute higher to our calorie needs. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad or that we shouldn't eat it. In fact, we need a good balance of all of these macronutrients in order for our bodies to stay healthy. They all help in various ways to help our body to be healthy, as well as perform various functions that are needed. They're needed for in our body. So carbohydrates, protein, and fat. Carbs are going to be typically your bread, cereal, rice, pasta, fruit, some dairy. You can also get carbohydrates from high sugar foods, things like candy, cookies, cakes, soda, that kind of thing. Protein is primarily coming from animal sources: chicken, fish, beef, pork, eggs. You can also get it from plant-based sources such as like tofu, edamame, as well as dairy. Fats are going to come primarily from nuts, seeds, and oils, as well as a component of some of the higher fat protein foods. So if it's a higher fat beef or pork, you're going to get fat in those animal products as well. So how does this affect your fat loss process? And what can you do with your macros to help you stay on track and to maximize your results? So I'm a fan of helping my clients work with macros. And the reason is because if we're just looking at calories, we could see weight loss going, but number one, we may not be functioning at our prime and our peak. Okay, a good balance of macronutrients is important to maintain the specific functions within our body. So we want to function at our best. Also, if we're not watching our macro balance, we could be incredibly hungry. So just eating in a calorie deficit alone, yes, will contribute to weight loss. But when we balance those macros, particularly consuming adequate protein and good sources of quality fat, that's going to help us stay more full and satisfied within that calorie deficit. The third reason we want to look at incorporating macros into our weight loss program is to provide for more of a fat loss component. Okay, so if we're not consuming adequate protein and we're in a calorie deficit and we're exercising and strength training, our body is going to start to break down our lean muscle mass in order to provide for that energy. The key here is consuming adequate protein, which is going to help sustain and maintain that lean muscle mass. So then your body is going to drop more of that fat. So if you're just looking at weight loss alone, yes, calories are what is most important. And weight loss in general, yes, calories are important. But balancing the macros is going to, number one, help you feel more full and satisfied. Number 2, keep your body functioning at its peak. And number 3, maintain your lean muscle mass, which is ideal throughout this process. Because if you're losing a lot of your lean muscle mass, down the road, your metabolism is going to not only decrease, you're just also not going to see as great of aesthetic benefits, especially if your strength training is going to be harder for you to see more of that muscle definition and that lean muscle mass on your body. So now everyone asks me, how much should I be having of each of my macronutrients? And I'd love to give you a blanket recommendation, but as a registered dietitian, I know that each individual has their own very particular needs. So your needs may vary compared to somebody else or another client of mine. So it's really hard for me to give a blanket recommendation. That being said, a lot of my clients are female, over the age of 40, are strength training, and they're in a calorie deficit. If that is the client that I'm working with, again, depending on their individual needs, generally, I'm going to encourage them to have between 30 to 35% of their calories coming from protein. Generally, okay? Again, individual needs vary, especially with certain medical conditions and that type of thing. For example, if I have a client who is in a calorie deficit, is strength training, and is looking to lose weight, lose fat, and she is consuming approximately 1,650 calories. And I gave her between 30 to 35% of her calories coming from protein. That would be approximately 123 to 144 grams of protein that I would encourage her to consume regularly. So, higher protein needs are going to help, again, maintain that lean muscle mass within that calorie deficit. And that is why I recommend that clients look at their macro breakdown, and we really focus in on making food choices based on these particular macronutrients. So I hope that you found that helpful. If you're looking for more guidance and direction on how you can get fit, lose fat, and gain confidence, I encourage you to reach out to me. I'd be happy to help you. InspireHW.com. Subscribe and follow. Thank you.